How we doing, everybody? Hope you're all well. Now, UFC 274 went down at the weekend. You've seen the results. You know what happened. But we're going to dissect a little bit of the aftermath, some of the future matchups, what people are saying, and a bit of the drama that is unfolding, as always, in the sport of mixed martial arts. That's why you got to love it. Now, as we saw in the main event, Charles Oliveira proved to be the most exciting fighter on the UFC roster by a landslide, if you ask me. This man is incredible. Went out there, got a great win over his opponent, Justin Gaethje, but there was a bit of drama. He got dropped, but still, he got a submission in the second round. Fight before that, we're not going to talk about that at all because, you know, he wasn't good. Before that, though, we saw Michael Chandler taking on El Kukui, Tony Ferguson, and we thought El Kukui was going to do great things. We thought he was going to come back and get back on a win streak, but it wasn't meant to be. C'est la vie. That is life. That is the way it goes down. That is the way the cookie crumbled, or the way the chicken nugget was dipped, or whatever, according to Conor McGregor.
Oh, stop.
Anyway, so yeah, Michael Chandler won in style. Got a tremendous win. Now he is trying to fight. He's calling out everybody. He's calling out Conor McGregor. I don't think he's going to get that fight. Conor ain't going to fight anytime soon. But Nate Diaz is waiting in the wings. Nate Diaz is waiting to part companies with the UFC. He famously has one fight left on his contract. That's why he ain't going to fight Conor, because Conor ain't fighting this year. So what do they do with him? Well, Michael Chandler is calling for a fight, and so's Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz said, UFC got me on ice now for over a year. Chandler's obviously ready to fight. Send me a contract. It's time. July 30th, 170 pounds. And listen, if we know Michael Chandler, he'll probably take that fight. He will probably take that fight. Because that's who he is, and he has offered nothing but excitement ever since he signed with the UFC, so well done. And I do hope that fight happens. I would have liked to have seen the McGregor rubber match before they went their separate ways, but still, doesn't look like it's going to happen. Now, main event, Charles Oliveira, the champion of the world, and yes, he is the champ, simple as that. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, he doesn't have the belt, but he's widely recognised as the champion, simple as that. What are we going to do with this man next? Of course, he's the champ, so a lot of people want to fight him. Charles Oliveira has been talking this week. Of course, he's very confident. He's the champion of the world. And he put a tweet out. He said, just for the record, I like to break records. I want to break another one. I want to fight twice in one night. I can knock out Conor and I can make Diaz tap. Now, I don't know about doing that twice in one night. You never know. Can't doubt that, man. I will forever stop doubting Charles Oliveira. But let's look at that. Would he knock out Conor McGregor? Maybe he would. Maybe Conor would knock him out as well. You know, Conor doesn't deserve a title fight based on his record right now. However, he's the biggest star in the sport. And out of all the top contenders, that could possibly be the most winnable fight for Conor. And that would make him the lightweight champion of the world. You're out of your mind, Bisping. What are you saying? I understand why you would think that, but look at it. Charles has been dropped in every one of those three fights that he had against Dustin Poirier. He was dropped. Against Justin Gaethje, he was dropped a couple of times, okay? Who was the other one? Michael Chandler, when he won the belt. He was dropped. He was almost finished in the first round. That's what makes Charles so exciting, because he doesn't care. He walks forward, but the problem is with that, he does get hit. And say what you want about McGregor, okay? The man can punch. That left hand, he built a career on it, okay? And if he catches Charles Oliveira, you never know. He could end the fight. So that is absolutely crazy. But he could not. But Charles could knock him out as well. And he could definitely probably submit Nate Diaz. However, those fights aren't going to happen. Those fights aren't going to happen. And guess what? Potential number one contender, Islam Makhachev, came out the woodwork. And he's talking a little bit of shit as well. He said, look, listen. He said, Oliveira, you're scared. He said, you're calling out people on a losing streak. I'm not on a losing streak and you're not saying my name. And he does have a good point there. You know, Diaz and Conor, they are on losing streaks, but they are the biggest stars in the division. Islam Makhachev is going to fight Beneil Dariush, and that is the fight that needs to happen. And I think whoever wins that fight should be the next opponent for Charles Oliveira, right? That is the way the sport should work. That should be the flow of the things. You should get a title fight on merit, and Islam and Beneil, they have the best win streaks going on right now, and all the other people have been beaten. He's beaten Chandler, he's beaten Poirier, he's beaten Gaethje. Diaz and Conor, they're not going to fight. Well, Conor isn't fighting this year, and Diaz might fight Michael Chandler. So, Makhachev has a point, but he doesn't really have a point. You can't call Charles Oliveira a coward. You can't call him a coward. I understand what Charles is doing. Charles, or us as fighters, We are prize fighters. We want to get paid. Listen, he has fought all the top guys. You can't call a man a coward after he's just beaten Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje in a row. You can't say that. You know what I mean? There's 3 of the best fighters in the division, 3 of the best fights that we've seen in recent memory, and obviously he won all 3 of them, and he finished all 3 of them. So what he's trying to do is trying to get paid. Of course he'll get paid anyway, he's the champion of the world, but he wants that mega payday. And Diaz or Conor would provide that. You know, Conor McGregor, by far the biggest star the sport has ever seen. Nobody else has ever come close. But Charles is trying to get that mega fight. He's trying to get that big, big payday for generational wealth. And you can't blame him. Listen, if he beats Conor, which I would favour him to, Beneil's still going to be there. Islam's still going to be there. All the other fighters, they're still going to be there, right? But the cash cow, Conor McGregor, might not be around forever. Yes, Paddy, Conor's the cash cow, not you.
I'm the new cash cow.
So what is he doing? He's trying to get the payday. And I understand. Just like when I fought George St. Pierre. Listen, I was champion of the world for a period of time. And when I was there, I was supposed to fight Robert Whittaker, but he got injured. I was then supposed to fight Yoel Romero, but I got injured. I had to have surgery on my left knee. Of course, ultimately have to have that knee replaced. And in the meantime, a fight with George St. Pierre materialised. George St. Pierre, one of the biggest box office smashes that the UFC had ever saw. He wanted to come out of retirement, come up to 185 because I presented a new challenge for him. And the cheeky bugger probably thought he could beat me as well, which, as we know, he did. So I took that fight against George. And it was a great fight, but more importantly, I made a lot of money. It was by far the biggest payday of my career. Now, I wasn't dodging anyone. No, I was taking on all comers. I was fighting whoever the UFC put in front of me. And that's what I did all the time. I never turned anybody down. But when George St. Pierre came about, yes, I wanted that fight. Of course I did. Number one, I thought I could beat him. But secondly, no offense to Robert or Yoel, they weren't big pay-per-view stars. George St. Pierre was. He was huge, and him coming back was a massive storyline. And we sold almost 1 million pay-per-view buys. Robert and Yoel, I think they did like 200. So there you go. So the point I'm making, go back to Charles. You can't call Charles Oliveira a coward for wanting to fight Conor McGregor. You can't call him a coward for wanting to fight Nate Diaz. And you can't call him a coward after he's just beaten Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler. Back to back, all on the bounce on an 11-fight win streak, 10 knockouts, 10 submissions, 9 submissions and 1 knockout. There we go. Either way you slice it, the man is an absolute legend. But look at that. Look at those names that I just mentioned there. The lightweight division of the UFC, by far the glamour division. Chandler, Poirier, Gaethje, Beneil, Conor, Diaz. The list goes on. And yes, some of them might fight at 70, but they're all blown up 170-pounders. My God, it used to be the light heavyweights back in the day, the 205ers. Back when it was Chuck Liddell, Quinton Rampage Jackson, Tito Ortiz. The list goes on. Even I was up at light heavyweight for a while. But anyway, there it is. That's all I got time for today. Thanks for supporting the channel. Hope you're all well. Subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. And I'll be back with another video tomorrow. And today I just unleashed a video, the 10 worst knockouts in UFC history. If you haven't seen that one, check it out. Have a good day. Bye-bye.